In the late 1980s, a young man named Robert dazzled audiences with his wit and charm. He was the sort of person who could walk into a room and own it without even trying. His improvisational skills on stage were legendary, quick, sharp, and utterly fearless. Producers adored him, colleagues marveled at him, and audiences couldn't get enough. By the early 1990s, Robert had become a household name in Britain. He starred in comedy shows, appeared in films, and seemed to be everywhere at once. "You're unstoppable," his agent said during one celebratory dinner. "The sky's the limit for you, mate." But Robert didn't feel unstoppable. Beneath the laughter and accolades, something was wrong. Sometimes he confided to a friend over drinks. "It feels like my mind is running faster than I can keep up with. And when it slows down, it's like crashing into a brick wall." The friend shrugged. "Maybe you just need a break. Go on holiday or something." But Robert didn't take a break. He couldn't. The relentless demands of fame, interviews, performances, endless social obligations kept him in constant motion. When the pressure became too much, he turned to alcohol. At first, it was just a glass or two to take the edge off, but soon it became a bottle or two to get through the day. "I'm fine," he insisted. Whenever someone expressed concern, "It's all part of the job, isn't it?" It wasn't fine. By the mid-1990s, Robert's behavior had become increasingly erratic. He'd show up late to rehearsals, or not at all. When he did appear, he was often disheveled, distracted, or visibly intoxicated. Directors started to hesitate before hiring him, no matter how brilliant he had been in the past. "You're burning bridges, Robert," his agent warned during a tense phone call. "You've got to pull yourself together." But Robert couldn't pull himself together. The alcohol had been joined by drugs, a toxic cocktail that masked the pain but deepened the chaos. And beneath it all, there was something more, a gnawing sense of despair that no amount of applause could cure. One day, after an especially disastrous audition, Robert disappeared. He didn't call his agent, his friends, or even his family. He simply vanished from the public eye, leaving fans and colleagues bewildered. "What happened to him?" people whispered. For years, Robert lived in the shadows. He sought solace in isolation, trying to piece himself back together. It was during this time that he received a diagnosis that explained much of his turmoil: bipolar disorder. The wild highs and crushing lows, the restless energy and debilitating despair, it all made sense now. But understanding wasn't the same as healing. The road to recovery was long and fraught with setbacks. Therapy helped, as did the support of those who still cared for him. But it was a daily struggle to stay sober, stable, and hopeful. In time, Robert began to reemerge, not as the unstoppable force he had once been, but as a more grounded, reflective version of himself. He returned to acting in small roles, his performances tinged with a depth and vulnerability that hadn't been there before. "You're different now," an old friend remarked, after seeing him perform. Robert smiled faintly. "I've been through the fire. I suppose that changes a person." Because you see, Robert wasn't his real name. It was just a stand-in for a man who soared to dazzling heights, only to crash to devastating lows. A man who faced his demons and lived to tell the tale. Today the world knows him as Tony Slattery, a comedic genius whose humanity is as compelling as his talent. And now you know the rest of the story.